Hello, fourth graders. Welcome to lesson 4.7, Divide Using Repeated Subtraction. Please pause to write the lesson number and title in your notebook. Today's lesson objective is I can use repeated subtraction and multiples to find quotients. Please pause to write the lesson objective in your notebook. Alright, fourth graders, today's lesson is an investigate problem, which means we're going to model our thinking and our learning. We're going to model division by repeated subtraction, because just like multiplication is repeated addition, division is repeated subtraction. So, John is building a backyard pizza oven with an arch opening. He has 72 bricks. He will place 6 bricks at a time as he builds the oven. If he arranges the bricks in piles of 6, how many piles will he have? So we're going to divide 72 by 6. So the first thing that we want to do is we just want to take out how many groups of 6, as many as we can. So it says begin with 72 and subtract 6. So down here below we have 72 minus 6. And if we borrow, this becomes a 6. And we move over a 1, and 12 minus 6 is 6, and bring down the 6. So there are 66 pieces left. Okay, now we're just going to keep going with this process until we can find out how many groups of 6 we can take out. So 66 minus 6 is 60. And then 60 minus 6 is 54. Now, every time I take out a group of 6, that's how many times it can go in. So here's our first time, here's our second time, and here's our third time. And our question is, can we take out an even group and have no remainders? Well, if we kept subtracting, we could do it to the side. 54 minus 6. We'd have to borrow again. We have 4. And we get 14. 14 minus 6 is 7. We get 47 minus 6. 7 minus 6 is 1. Bring down the 4 minus 6. We keep going and we keep going. Then we actually can get 12 groups of 6 out. So there are 12 groups of 6. And it does come out evenly. When we count the number of times that it comes out, we have 12 groups. So each pile of 6 is 12 piles. Let's keep looking at this same idea on the next page. Okay, as you can tell, taking out 6 every single time, particularly when we have to do it 12 times, could take a really long time. So instead of taking out only 6, we can also look at bigger groups that we could take out at one time. So it says, let's look at number 1 first. Explain the relationship between the divisor, that's how many pieces we're splitting into, the dividend, and the quotient, and the number of times you subtracted. So we subtracted the divisor from the dividend to find the quotient. Okay, now what would happen if instead of subtracting 6 out every time, we subtracted multiples of 6? So instead of taking out 6, I took out 12. Well, then it would go 2 times as fast because 12 is 2 times as much as 6. So on here we have 72 divided by 6, and it says the first thing we're going to take out is a group of 10. That's a big number first. We're going to subtract out 60 because 10 times 6 is 60, and that's a much easier number to subtract. It's going to bring my number down much faster. So 10 times 6 is 60. 72 minus 60 is 12. Oh, look at how fast that went. Okay, now we have 12 left over, so we need to take out one more group, or two more groups of 6. So that is 6 times 2 is 12, and we used 2 groups. So 12 minus 12 is 0. And over here we want to add the 2 pieces we took out. So we took out a group of 10 and a group of 2, which is 12. So we get the same answer as we got before, that you can take 12 groups of 6 out. Okay, so number 2 says, what multiples of 6 did you use and how did you use them? Well, we used 10 times 6 equals 60 to take out the biggest chunk first, and 10 is always a good place to start. And then when we saw that our number was much smaller, when we were only at 12, then we used 2 times 6 equals 12 to take out our remaining pieces. And then it says, what numbers did you add? Well, we added these 2 numbers over here. I'll circle them in blue. We added 10 because we took out 10 groups of 6. And then we added 2 because we took out 2 groups of 6. So we added 10 plus 2 equals 12. And how did using multiples to use the divisor help you? Well, it helped us go much faster. Instead of taking out 6 and 6 and 6 and 6 and 6 and 6 12 times, we took 10 groups out at once and then 2 more groups left over and got the same answer. So, using multiples sped us up. All right. We will keep practicing with this idea of repeated subtraction and subtracting multiples tomorrow in class. You're almost finished. When you're sure you understand this lesson, go back to your teacher's website and complete the exit slip. See you tomorrow.